Warning. This game contains content might not be suitable for most audiences. Viewers' discretion is advised. It's Saturday, and for once in my life, I had the day off. That is, until the phone rang. My stomach turned before I could even read the name on the screen. There were still a few hours before 4, and I friggin' knew what was going to follow if I answered! Yet despite my unease, I accepted the call and my fate. Immediately, a panicked Angela feverishly explained her situation to me. My sister's in the hospital. I know this is last minute, but can you please take my shift? I've asked everyone. My heart ached for her. I know what it's like to be backed into a corner. So without even asking what happened, or if she even attempted to call Julie to let her know she won't be turning up for her shift, I jumped in to help. It's no problem. Got you. Go be with your sister. Hearing her sigh of relief, followed by a soft thank you, warmed my heart. I felt good. Really good. And thinking back on it, I still do. But being here now, on a busy late Saturday night with annoying drunk customers who either get belligerent with me for denying them one more shot or who have no problem hitting on me despite that fancy little wedding ring on their finger, well, I can't help but feel some regret. After all, if I had said no, I would be at home watching videos right now, cozy and warm under my brand new comforter, with Cream Puff nuzzling against me, purring softly. Sometimes I wish I was a bit more selfish. Here you go, 1 apple martini. The shy college girl mutters a thank you before going off to join her friends at a nearby table. She takes tiny sips of the drink, coughing between each one. What I would do to be in her shoes, hanging out with friends on a weekend without a care in the world. Instead, I'm here. I take my eyes off of her and focus on polishing an old-fashioned glass while taking a look around the bar. The other bartender I'm on shift with, Rahim, is wiping down the bar top after someone spilled their drink. Despite that mishap, seems like every patron is content. For now. What time is it? I put the shiny glass down with great effort, wriggle my phone free from my tight pants pocket. The lock screen flashes on and greets me with Cream Puff's sweet, sleeping face. The time above his orange, fluffy head reads 11:54. Seriously? How is it not even 12 yet? These last few hours are going to drag. Oh, man. I have to come back again tomorrow. Tis. Didn't your teachers ever tell you not to stare at the clock, bartender? If you do, it makes time slow to a crawl. Ah! Nearly dropping my phone, I recover the fumble and thrust it back into my pocket. I turn in the direction of the quiet and admittedly alluring voice. Hi there? The voice belongs to a woman whose colorful and vibrant eyes are reminiscent of the stained glass I would see at church every Sunday as a kid. Well, she's got piercing eyes. Her eyes are nothing like I've ever seen before. If I had met this woman even just once, I'd remember her among the sea of regulars I've grown accustomed to. Well? Her voice breaks me out of my trance, and the corner of her mouth curls into an amused smirk. I must have slept through that lesson, I'm sorry. How long have you been sitting there for? Yeah, I must have slept through that lesson. Okay, Kate. This pretty lady is either demeaning you, teasing you, or trying to flirt with you. No matter what the case may be, you need to respond. Putting my minor embarrassing display of my phone behind me, I lean against the bar top and shine a grin at the woman. Nah, they didn't. I must have fallen asleep during that lesson. Was using all my brain power towards learning the English alphabet and coloring inside the lines. The woman's smirk doesn't falter. In fact, I notice one corner of her lips curl upwards just a bit. At least one of those is a valuable life skill. Yeah, I always thought coloring inside the lines was dumb. We're supposed to be teaching kids to reach for their boundless dreams and nurturing their creativity. Yet, we're telling them at such an impressionable age that it's wrong to color outside the lines? What kind of sense does that make? Kinda hypocritical if you ask me. The woman blinks and her head tilts ever so slightly. Oh no, I think I just lost her. Get going, Kate. What I meant to say was, heh. The woman's soft, unexpected chuckle pierces through my defenses and extinguishes my bubbling anxiety. For now, anyway. And here I thought you were going to ask me what I wanted to order. Instead, you surprised me with an interesting worldview. Her captivating gaze slides side to side, and then she leans forward like she's about to drop the world's greatest secret. Not that I mind. I enjoy a good surprise every now and again. Her soft, almost inaudible whisper sends a shiver down my spine, and the clear satisfaction in her demeanor rouses a spike of heat rising underneath my skin. Swallowing thickly, I step back and hope that I'm not blushing too hard, and that if I am, she won't notice. So, judging by her bemused smile, I think she does. Aren't you going to ask me what I want to drink? Or are you going to continue to gawk at me? I'm sorry, ma'am. You're just you look at me as if I'm a snack, and I have a mighty weakness for that. God, I should not have worn a turtleneck. It's getting real hot in here. Oh boy. She shifts the pitch of her voice slightly, like she's talking to someone who's beneath her. It takes me a second to clear my head and nod. Right. What's going on here? First, this lady comes from out of nowhere without so much as making a friggin' sound like she's a spy or something. And now it's like she has me under some kind of spell. A spell that the worst part of me wants to stay lulled in. Managing to find my voice again, I prepare to blurt out my normal greeting to every new face that walks in here. Welcome to the Red Clover Tavern. What can I get you today? You sound like one of those old-timey bartenders from the 70s. Could you sound any more show-timey? I can feel my confidence crack a bit. Though it could be worse. She could have called me a sewer rat like that one guy did. Yeah, really. Maybe I should don a handlebar mustache and one of those striped tops so I can fit your image of me. That could work. I'll try to wear one next time you come in. Now, back to the question at hand. What can I get you? The woman's vibrant eyes scanned the menu behind me carefully. You have so many drinks here. The Lemon Tornado, Purple Rain, Malibu Sunrise. Sheesh, this place is like a frat boy's dream with all the alcohol you're serving here. She's not wrong there. I told Julie we should cut the menu down because of the sheer amount we have can be overwhelming for a new customer. Hell, can be overwhelming for the bartenders at times, especially during holidays when we get limited time drinks in. Let me narrow it down for you so we're both not here all night, even though I may want to be. I wink at her. What's your poison? Rum, vodka, brandy, or if you really hate yourself, Everclear? She chuckles a bit, the sound causing my heart to leap in my chest. Everclear? And you try to kill someone? I promise you, we only serve a small amount. Plus, customers have to sign a waiver. She shakes her head a bit. She whispers something under her breath. Even a small amount can kill someone. All you need is a single shot. What was that? She looks at me, her dazzling eyes freezing me in place. To make matters even worse, she smiles at me. Oh, I said that even a small amount can be dangerous, so it's not something I would ever dare try out. Oh yeah, most people don't, but like I said, it's a small amount, like a tenth of a shot. Huh, good. Man, I thought she said something totally different. But back to the topic at hand. My preference is vodka, but I unfortunately have plans tonight, so I can't have it by itself. Huh? I glance over at the clock hanging by the entrance. What in the world could be happening this late into the night? Or is it morning now, technically speaking? Plans? It's 12:05, and it's gonna be raining until sunrise. What sort of plans do you have? Nothing big, promise ya. Sure, that's what every secret celebrity says, and it turns out those plans end up being a major party in some skyrise downtown. She gives a lackadaisical roll of her eyes at that. Parties? Huh, I don't indulge in those. Come blame her. Parties can get wild sometimes. Always preferred small get-togethers with friends. I wonder if she's a homebody. Nah, I wouldn't say I'm a homebody. Wait! Are you an Esper? Nah, I have a knack for reading people. You were knitting your eyebrows together, like you were deep in thought, and it wasn't that much of a leap to make. When someone says they don't go to parties, people tend to assume they're a hermit, or something along those lines. Dang, she's good. But enough about me. The drink? Yeah, right. I clear my throat. Well, we have a few mixed drinks with vodka in it, surprise me. I freeze, slowly. I turn my head towards the woman as if I'm a character in a sitcom and she's the camera. Excuse me? She smirks. Oh, she knows. She friggin' knows. Your kind's favorite phrase, is it not? That remark earns her a scrutinizing squint. It's not like I'm asking you to pick from a million options, bartender. I told you 2 things. I like vodka, and I have plans tonight. That should steer you in the right direction. True. Okay, let's see what I can come up with. Thank you. I turn my back to her, and when I do, one question makes its way into the forefront of my mind. Why am I even entertaining this? Then again, it's not like I wouldn't. Even with the worst of customers, I smile begrudgingly to get a good tip, even if that meant making a miracle of a surprise me order. But am I doing this for a tip? I shake my head free of that thought. Focus, Kate. Think of the mixed drinks that have vodka in it. What would this lady like? Oh, a Bay Breeze maybe? A red drink made up of mostly pineapple and cranberry juice. Refreshing, but definitely more on the fruity, sweet side thanks to the pineapple. Or would she be a fan of the red, white, and blue? A picturesque layered drink with lemonade, grenadine, vodka, and blue curacao. A lot of people her age get it. It's a little heavy on the alcohol, but she may end up liking it due to the combination of flavors and how pretty it is. Oh man, it looks so good though, frick. The last drink to pop into my mind is the Vampire's Kiss, a refined drink that's made out of vodka and raspberry liquor, plus the rim's coating with red sugar. Tart, sweet, and light on the alcohol, though because of the sexier presentation, it's on the pricier side. What should I make this woman given what I know? I wanna make the Vampire's Kiss! Gathering the ingredients for the Vampire's Kiss, I sneak a peek at the woman who is idly playing with the little brown drink napkin. You know, I've realized I never asked for your name. It might be cruel of me to keep calling you bartender all night. I pause, the loud shaking from the mixer coming to a halt. That is, unless you like being called that. I'd like to be called yours! Her tone was playful. She's inferring to something beyond just a simple name calling. Bartender is not one of the names I like to be called, that's for sure. I clear my throat and resume with shaking the mixer, the banging of the ice bringing me a sense of calm as I'm drowning in a sea of confusion. The name's Kate. I grab the correct glass and pour the liquid inside. Despite the brief lapse in judgment, the drink looks perfect. Well, adding the garnishes as the finishing touch, I ask a question to keep the conversation going. What about you? What's your name? Sorry, but I don't give out my name to people. That's a first. I have a fake name for me to work with? Like the classic bend over? Huh? Why's that? It's a safety precaution. A safety precaution? Against what? It's just her name. From my experience, nothing bad has ever happened to me when I gave up my name. At least I don't think anything bad has happened. Unless, of course, she thinks I'm a fae, which would be really funny because she keeps referring to me as if I'm some other species. Come on, you can trust me, drop the subject, why the secrecy? I'll give her a nickname. Okay, fine, I won't ask you for your name, but then that means I can come up with one for you. Excuse me? Putting her now finished drink on the counter behind me, I lean my body forward and give her face a good look over, all while ignoring the quickening pace of my heart. I scratch my metaphorical beard in thought. Why are you so close? Oh, someone's a little flustered. I try my best to hide my smile, but I can't. I need to get a good picture of you. Since I don't know much about you, I only have your looks to base my nickname on. And there's one characteristic of yours that really stands out. Her gaze links with mine, and I nearly miss the way her expression shifts. My eyes? Bingo! They remind me of the insides of a jawbreaker. Colorful, vibrant, you can get lost in them. Addictive even. Much like how one wants to get to the center of the jawbreaker for that gumball. I want to stay under that gaze. But I keep that comment to myself. You are not calling me jawbreaker. Gumball maybe? Those are also pretty colorful, and they're my favorite candy. No, I am not going to be referred to as any type of candy. She's making this harder than it needs to be. I don't know what else is colorful. A kaleidoscope, perhaps? Who calls someone a kaleidoscope? At least Gumball was cute. Jawbreaker was unique, even if it may get weird glances from people. Hush. What's so funny? Your face. When you think, it's charming. Leaping back and nearly knocking over bottles of alcohol behind me, the woman's amusement only grows as she continues to chuckle. Aw, you don't want to get lost in my eyes, Kate? Get a hold of yourself, Kate. You were doing so well. Taking a quick breath in and out, I march forward with the conversation. Listen, if you want your drink, I need a name. You can give me an alias or an obvious fake name that I'll have a chuckle at. I just want something, okay? Putting me in a difficult spot. Okay, I'll bite. She taps her fingers on her chin, giving her nickname some thought. You can call me... Her eyes twinkle slightly. Kali. Okay, I was not expecting something so pretty. Why Kali, if you don't mind me asking? It has a nice ring to it, and admittedly, it's also the first thing I could come up with. Well, out of all the names I've heard during the 6 years of working here, your name is definitely at the top of the list of best names Kate has ever heard. As for your reward for getting a spot on such a high esteemed list, your drink for the evening. In quick succession, I turn around and grab her wonderfully made drink, and hop back around with a bright smile on my face, similar to what you would see a presenter at an award show wear. Ta-da! I put the drink down in front of her, and she takes it in. Oh? She inspects the drink carefully. I can't tell if her oh is good or bad. It's so hard to read her at times. Oh? Is the drink not to your liking? Not at all. I'm just surprised. Well, you did say surprise me. You're a smartass, you know that? Perceptive, aren't you? I tend to be one sometimes. Just depends on the mood you catch me in. Anyway. I was expecting something outlandish, extravagant, maybe even something so dumb it would have melted my brain, but instead, you presented me with a simple martini. Sometimes simple is the best way to go. But also because I couldn't come up with much else, even when given limitless freedom. Now, let's see how it tastes. Wrapping her fingers around the delicate martini glass, she presents the sugared rim to her lips and gauges my reaction as she does so. My courage begins to falter as she slowly places the drink back down. Her poker face is way too good to see through. Finally, a pleasant smile brightens her face. Delicious. It's not strong. You did say you had somewhere to be tonight. For whatever reason, so I want to make sure you didn't get hammered. Good that you kept that fact in mind. Excellent job, Kate. Upon hearing her praise, I have to restrain myself from jumping for joy. To make the situation even sweeter, she takes another sip of her drink. Kali opens her mouth, but before she can get her words out, the blaring voice of a special news report comes out from TV behind me. Despite the mounting evidence against him, reports are indicating that Mayor Levine will be acquitted on most of the charges against him. This includes the misuse of city funds and misconduct. Mierda! I shouldn't be surprised, but God, how hard is it to get buttholes to be put in jail for their crimes? Did he get off because of the lawyer he got? Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Kali's grip tightening on a drink. Hey, that is a cocktail glass. It is not that sturdy. Chill. Without even thinking, I rest my hand on her arm. She looks at me, and the fiery intensity in her stare soothes. Hey, you hold that any tighter and the glass is gonna get everywhere, including in your hand. The last thing we both need is you getting sent to the hospital tonight. As if realizing how dangerously close she is to having an unfun trip to the hospital, she loosens her grip on the martini glass and sets it down. You're right. My apologies. For the first time tonight, it seems as though Kali has been truly thrown off kilter. I thought I would be I thought I would enjoy seeing her like this as payback for the way she's been making me feel, but I don't. I can't help but feel pity for her. You okay? Fine. I understand how you feel. The real world's tough. But hey, that's why some of us come here. We drink to forget the problems of the world until the next morning. And all comes rushing back to us during the painful hangover. Well, my best attempt to lighten the mood just fell flat on its face. Kali, meanwhile, stares down at the mahogany bar top, deep in thought. Kate? What's up? What do you think of the state of the world? Huh? Thankfully, only seconds pass before she realizes how complex and out of nowhere her question really was. A new gravity settles in her expression. What do you think of all this? The people, the places you go to, how things are being ran, everything. Jeez, that's a loaded question, if I've ever heard one. Can't say I was expected to hear something like that tonight. Then again, I wasn't expecting any of this. She's looking at me expectantly, like she wants to hear my response. Well, I'm not gonna say it's awful, because honestly, it's more like my personal thoughts and things that it is complicated. Like, yeah, like some things are just definitely awful, but at the same time, like, some things are great. Sometimes, like, it really seems like things are looking up. But other times, like, yeah, it really sucks, so yes, it's complicated. Her head moves slightly from side to side, while I juggle my conflicting thoughts about the world. They're messy as hell, but hey, they're my messy as hell feelings. On the one hand, the world can be an awful place. People hate me and others for just being our genuine selves, and then there's the ever-mounting problems this city seems to be facing. Politicians escaping justice, cost of living increasing, local businesses that I've grown to love since childhood closing down, crime rates increasing. And that's just the city alone. Everywhere's a shit show. But I look up at Kali, a soft smile gracing my lips. There's a glimmer of hope. People can distract you from the bad, even if it's just for a moment. I feel like you're going to hate me for my answer. Huh? I think the world's a complicated place. Can't honestly say it's good or bad. Yeah, the world can be pretty awful at times. There are days where I dread waking up because I know what awaits me is yet another news story that's going to cause me to stay in bed, doom scrolling. It's like I'm living in some horror film, you know? But there's also good in the world. Like my cat, Cream Puff. A snicker escapes her lips, and then she's scrambling to muffle her laughter. She covers her mouth with her hand, but it's too late. I saw that genuine smile. Sorry, that's just... that came out of nowhere. I was not expecting you to give a shout-out to your cat, Cream Puff. Oh, this lady definitely doesn't own a pet. If she did, she would get it. Only a pet owner would know the indescribable value a pet brings into their lives. He's an absolute sweetheart. You want to see? Before she can even give me an answer, I pull out my phone and show her my lock screen, much like a proud parent showing off their child's baby pictures. Cute. I know, right? With one last glance at my fluffy menace of a best friend, I put my phone away. It's not just Cream Puff, I mean. There's my family, friends, and the occasional strangers that makes a weekend shift a little less stressful. What is she thinking? A vague dark red tint dusts the woman's cheeks. Wait, is she... Before I even have a chance to internally celebrate my victory, Kali clears her throat and composes herself. She lets out a soft exhale and steadies her breathing. In just a matter of seconds, that blush is gone. Interesting. What about you? You put me in the hot seat, so now it's your turn. Unless that's information you also can't tell me. She smiles at me. Nah, I think I can let you in on at least that. Consider it a reward for having a complex answer to my complex question. I don't have quite the same outlook as you, but I will admit that there are good people in the world. People who are too kind for their own good. It's not hard to see what she means. My dad's like that. Would give the shirt off his back for anyone in need, and sometimes that bit him in the butt. I've seen it happen firsthand. I nod, urging her to continue. She does. Good people die. Or if life is feeling particularly cruel, They're tortured by sadistic people that hold power all for their own selfish gain. Those people, they sicken me. And I know she's not lying. Her words intertwine thickly with venom and pure disgust. The mere mention of these people make her face go pale. It's because of these people, this world is a rotten wasteland. I think if this world were to be reformed, the good people should stay. Reformed? What in the world does she mean by that? What about... I pause. The good people should stay. Does she mean that the world should start anew? So kinda like a rapture of sorts? Except no one dies and ascends to heaven? Yeah? Something along those lines. Yeah. Along those lines? So, not exactly? No, but don't worry your pretty little head about it, Kate. Just know that you would be someone who would stay around. Ah, I would? Is that my reward for making you a killer vampire kiss? At that, she takes another slow, methodical sip, making sure I'm watching her every move. I would be lying if I said it wasn't one of the reasons. There are more reasons? I clasp my hands over my mouth. Oh, no, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud! Why, yeah, there are. Are you that surprised that you hold so much worth? Don't you get all flustered about the truth. Too late, already flustered. You're an open book. You know that, Kate? Yeah, that's why I never got away with anything as a teenager. Can't lie for anything. Huh. Taking one last sip of her vampire's kiss, she sets the drink down and I attempt to take it away, but she rests her hand on mine. I freeze, turning to look at her. Perhaps I can teach you a trick to make you a better actor. I have a feeling you'll need it soon. How about it? I shouldn't. My rebellious years are far behind me. Even if it doesn't look like it, I've transformed into a responsible cat owner, and one that will gladly slave away at the stuff to make Cream Puff's meals. I go to work every day, not missing a single shift, and I even pick up more when it's needed. I go to my large family gatherings, even when I would rather do something else, like have a me day, whatever that would look like. I'm a responsible, honest adult. Yet, my body tingles with excitement at the mere thought of her offer. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to be a little bad sometimes. A lie or two here and there. That should be okay, right? Okay. She moves her hand from mine, her subtle warmth disappearing shortly after. Good. Now, earlier you were mesmerized by the fact I was able to read you. I figured that I can teach you how to do that. It took me several years of practice to master this, so don't expect to be good at it straight away. Yeah, don't worry. I was expecting to fall flat on my face the first few go-arounds. That's... well, at least you're being realistic about it. Anyway, you can learn a lot about a person from their facial expressions, or even their body movements. Of course, I mean, that's how she was able to figure me out earlier. Something always gives us away. For example, she slowly turns her head and points a long index finger at a lone customer with a nearly empty glass of Coke and rum. Regular of yours? Yeah, that's Phil. Phil, huh? For a minute or two, Cully stares at him, carefully monitoring his behavior and every movement. She tilts her head slightly, probably bouncing an idea or two in her head. Her next question leaves her lips, her eyes remaining on the poor, lonely man. Hand in his hands, his fingers digging into his hair, and it looks like he's muttering something to himself. A poor soul down on his luck. That much is obvious, but what could be plaguing him? Well, I know he's been having issues with money. In that fancy silk suit with a shiny new watch? Nah, not possible. Huh. Callie peeks back over to the TV. The news anchor is talking about yet another crime that has occurred in the city. In the lower third, there's headlines of miscellaneous stories being displayed, including how crime has gone up compared to 5 years ago. Crime rates are up. I wonder. The sight returns to the man who is now fixated on his phone, tapping his foot anxiously. What could he be looking at? I suspect he owes someone money, but doesn't have the means to pay them. Perhaps a local loan shark who's headed up to here with his excuses for the late payments. So that's why he's here, drinking his sorrows away for the night. Yeah, I've seen people who look like that before, fearful for their lives for one reason or another. sweat pouring down their faces while their bodies rattle with unbridled anxiety. It's quite... She never finishes her sentence, but the heat that's rushed up to her face, coloring her cheeks in a missable light red hue, leaves very little to the imagination. She clears her throat, and the faint heat dissipates from her face. She whips her head back to me, her face completely neutral as she composes herself. Anyway, that's how you do it, Kate. That's how you read someone. Simply examine them, their body language, their speech, and even their clothes. From there, use the information you have. Even just a tiny bit can help you piece someone's life together. Now, of course, having tangible evidence to prove such theories would be great, but when you're in a situation where you don't have that on hand, using your eyes and head goes a long way. I see. So basically, examine a person, use information that you have, and drop your own conclusions. That's it, huh? She makes it seem so effortless, though. Like she hasn't had an incorrect guess yet. I can't say I'm awful at observing people. With bartending, you kinda need to read people. If I wasn't good at that, I would be handing drinks out left and right to people who were way past their limit. Hell, I even know how to talk to people to guarantee a tip. Knowing the right thing to say is a key skill for a bartender like myself. Whether it's a good or bad tip, though, well, that's something I can't control. But connecting the dots like that, that's some next level stuff, but... I feverishly tap the side of my leg, heavily contemplating my next move. A part of me wants to put her teachings into action. Then again, what happens if I fall flat on my face? An almost inaudible hum stops the roller coaster I'm on just before it takes a plunge into God knows what. The calming melody brings me back to reality, back to Kali. She's watching me expectantly. She wants me to do something, but I can't keep her waiting any longer. Should I put what I've learned to the test to try and impress her, or maybe have her give me another example? It's a safe option, but I may be able to get more personal, intimate example out of her. Should I put what I've learned to the test to try and impress her, or maybe have her give me another example? It's the safe option, but I may be able to get a more personal, intimate example out of her. I'm gonna make a quick save. I'll ask her to figure me out. I think I need a more personal lesson. You make it seem so simple, but I'm still having a tough time with it all. Do you mind giving me another example? Oh, okay. Let's see. Tapping her fingers rhythmically on the bar top, she scans the bar for her next target. I shake my head. I want you to do me. She turns her head back to me, amused. Sorry, but I think we're still a little early in our relationship to be doing that. Immediately, images of her body on top of mine flash through my mind, escalating the temperature until my skin feels like it's burning under the ghost of her hand snaking up underneath my shirt. Nope, stop! Don't do that, Kate! You know, that's not what I meant! Pity? Okay, if you're gonna really play that game, let me rephrase. I want you to figure me out, like how you did feel. You know, since I'm an open book after all. Oh, Kate, that's a cakewalk. Leaning forward, Kali gives me a devilish smirk. You strike me as the type of person who is craving something. When I walked in here, I noticed how you watched that college kid walk back over to her friends. You may have not intended on it, but the way you saw her drink with her outgoing friends, out late on a weekend. You seemed almost... Her voice rises a bit, carving a slice of joy out of that idea. And the way you looked at your phone, frustrated that it was nowhere near closing time. You weren't supposed to be here, were you? Yet, here you are. She gestures to the bar we're in. Were you forced here, or did you feel like you had to be here? I chew the inside of my lip. Is that something you've had to do all your life for people, so you wouldn't hurt or disappoint them? My fingers dig into my tattooed arm. Always playing nice, always staying safe. Is that also why you didn't want to try out what I just taught you? Maybe you were afraid of disappointing me? She's too good at this, way too good. Kate, when I walked in here and you laid your wide eyes on me, dare I say there was a twinkle? And since we've been speaking, that little spark hasn't vanished. Your voice comes alive. It leads me to believe that tonight, You found something you might want. You're nice, Kate. And that's what I like about you. You like that about me? Of course. Why wouldn't I? It seems as though it's running you a little thin, and I hate to see someone I like in such a state. Kali's eyes wander over to the clock hanging by the door. A soft sigh escapes her lips, but she remains composed. Her smirk is still ever present on her face. As much as I'm enjoying this, I need to get to the point. She trains her eyes back on me. Kate, you're someone who's nice but is craving something, and that something is a moment of adrenaline that can be pumped into their otherwise tedious life. She leans forward even more, bringing our faces closer together. Do you want to live life dangerously, Kate? Even just for a moment, because I'll be more than happy to have. Hey, what? I don't flinch this time. I keep a straight face, feeling one corner of my mouth tug upwards. Just tonight, I want to. Oh. She looks me up and down, slowly. Her gaze lingers until eventually she makes eye contact with me once more. That's when I notice a change. Her once vibrant eyes have been given way to something carnivorous. Desire. If that's something you truly want, Kate, then who am I to deny such an obedient little kitten their deepest, darkest desire? Obedient little kitten? That purr sends shockwaves of pleasure throughout my body. She leans forward, and my attention drops to the soft curve of her mouth. Inches away now. Even if we're in front of a packed tavern, I don't care. Our lips will finally meet. My hopes are quickly dashed when she shifts and moves closer, turning her head towards my ear instead. Her lips brush against my skin, and it takes everything in me not to back away from that subtle yet intense touch. I suppose I have some time to spare to play with you tonight, but can I ask you to do one thing? Words are lodged in my throat. I can't breathe. Is this really happening? I nod meekly. This exchange between us, it's a one-time thing, so don't get attached, okay? I figured as much with how mysterious she's been all night. She seemed like the type to have no strings attached outings every now and again. Still, that doesn't ease my disappointment. When do you get out? 2 a.m. Huh. Is she going to take back her offer? I get out late and who knows where it has to be at God knows what time. I suppose I can push back my prior engagements for a little later, just for you. Almost as if she can feel the intense heat radiating off of my face, Kylie leans away, sitting back in the stool. She digs into her pocket and gently places a slightly worn-out bill onto the bar top. It's 20, more than enough for her drink. Meet me at the bus stop outside as soon as you get out. I don't like to wait. Before I can even gesture a reply, she slinks out of her chair and walks away, heading for the exit. Her stride is slow, like she wants me to take in every part of her, a small preview of what's to come later tonight. When she finally exits the tavern, I can finally breathe again. If you call desperate pants like I'd spend the night running a marathon breathing. I did that. I really friggin' did that. Kate? My coworker, Rahim, brings me back to reality. As he's mixing a drink, he slides over, concerned. Admittedly, I'm a little concerned as well. What the hell just happened right there? Did you, Yeah, I did. Let's get back to work before I explode. No, you're not doing that to me. Give me the details, now! No. I playfully shove Rahim away and jump to cleaning up the small mess that Kali left behind. He chuckles a bit, quietly whispering that I owe him the details later. For my own sanity, I keep myself busy for the rest of the night. Even when the crowd of customers die down as 2 a.m. approaches, I do whatever I can to make time go by faster without trying to glance at the clock or my phone for the time. That works, and soon enough, I'm out. And what awaits me is a woman standing under a streetlight. Her purple hood is up, and the light rainfall is leaving a dappled pattern on the fabric. But there's no mistaking her. It's Kali. We hop into a taxi, and the drive is quiet. Kali's fingers dance dangerously on my inner thigh. I look at her, and in the darkness, I can make out a teasing smile. Eventually, we get to my apartment. No words are exchanged, but Once we make it inside, and I escort Cream Puff out of my bedroom, all bets are off. No! She shoves me onto the bed and pounces, our lips crashing violently against each other. It takes me a moment to recover from the whiplash. Once I do, I'm in my element. Our tongues dance and tangle together, and she deepens the kiss by roughly grabbing my hair and pulling me nearer. Lifting my knee, I press against her core and treasure her muffled moan as she shifts and pins me one more kiss to my mouth before parting. Mi pequeña gatita. She sounds confident in calling me new pet names, even when she puts too much emphasis on certain syllables. Since when did you know Spanish? An hour ago. Got bored waiting around for you. She learned Spanish. Just for me. No, Kate, you need to focus. Remember what she said. This exchange is a one-time thing. Don't let your heart go aflutter. Stop it and stay cool. Take in the moment for what it is, a single moment in time. Tomorrow, she'll be gone. You got this. Impressed? It was good for a beginner, but you'll need to brush up on your pronunciation. I can show you. Shaking her head, she presses her index finger against my lips, and my remaining thoughts melt away. She then gives me an orderly push, and my back falls flat to the mattress. She wastes no time straddling me, a devilish smirk tugging at the corners of her mouth. She loops her fingers under her tank top strap, teasing me with what lies underneath. Let's save the Spanish lessons for another time. Right now, I want you to show me what you can do with that mouth of yours. In the morning. The morning? That was a one-time thing! There's something nuzzling against my cheek. Something warm. Someone furry. Slowly opening my eyes, I'm greeted with the familiar sight of Cream Puff, who looks happy despite having to sit in the living room for the night. Giving him some good scratches under his chin, I peek over to where I last remember seeing Kali looking back at me. She's gone. God damn it! And here's your vampire kiss, miss. Thank you. The woman happily leaves me, confused and heartbroken. It's Monday, the start of a new week, and here I am, mourning the past. A one-time exchange, huh? I knew how dangerous it would be to get involved with someone like her. How dangerous it would be to have a one-night stand with a woman who I knew nothing about. I freaking knew the risks that were going to come with such a decision. I don't regret it, but my heart still aches. Breaking news. Mayor Levine has been found dead in his home. Bye, shut up to the TV. After failing to return his lawyer's calls and not showing up to a meeting this morning, officers were sent to his home for a wellness check. After breaking through the door, they uncovered his bloodied body. The investigation is still in its early stages, and Lieutenant Dillion is expected to make a statement at 10 p.m. about the incident. For more about the developing story, make sure you stay tuned in to A News. Fragments of Saturday night flashed through my head like an old-time movie. The news report, the mayor getting acquitted of all charges of his crimes, and Kali's look of disgust when the mayor's picture displayed on the screen. Good people die, or if life is feeling particularly cruel, they're tortured by the sadistic people that hold power, all for their own selfish gain. Those people, they sicken me. It's because of these people, the world is a rotten wasteland. I think, if this world were to be reformed, the good people should stay. I can't think about it. I don't want to think about it. Steeling myself, I turn around and I'm met with a young couple whose eyes are glued to the TV screen. I try my best to greet them with a fake, unconvincing smile. Welcome to the Red Clover Tavern. What can I get you today? So that was the best ending. I do want to see what some of the other routes are like, so I'm going to try not to get any points with her. So I'm going to say I'm sorry for this first one. When did she get here? I have a good sense of when someone's approaching the bar, so either this lady is a secret agent, or I'm getting old and losing my touch. It doesn't friggin' matter. What matters is that I could have had her waiting for 5 minutes or 5 seconds, and in a world of customer service, both are equally as terrible. Biting my bottom lip, I braced myself for the possible roads that this conversation could go down. The woman watches me carefully and quirks her brow, probably curious as of how I'm going to apologize or make this up to her. I'm sorry. It's fine. There's a slight edge to her voice, as if my apology is offending her. I'm not a Karen. I hope you know that. I'm not going to berate you for taking a moment or two to yourself to check the damn time. I was simply teasing you. She sighs, glancing off towards a table of middle-aged patrons that are putting in an elaborate order minutes before the kitchen closes. I know what it's like. You do? You work as a bartender? No. What do you do then? Her lips press firmly together. So she's not a secret agent, as I had thought. She does work in customer service, though. It's obvious she won't elaborate on it any further, for some reason. Must be one of those places with an NDA or a Fortune 500 company. Well, it's nice to know someone understands the daily struggle of the hellscape that is customer service. She looks me up and down before flickering her eyes back up to my face. A special kind of companionship, isn't it? A tingle shoots down my spine, electrifying every nerve along the way as she says that in a low whisper. She taps her fingers on the bar top, snapping me out of my daze, much like a magician freeing somebody from their spell. As much as I would like to talk about our daily struggles, I unfortunately don't have the time for that, so... Yeah, right. Get a hold of yourself, Kate. This is just a very pretty lady. You've dealt with her kind before. Why is she such a special case all of a sudden? Managing to find my voice again, I'm prepared to blurt out my normal greeting to every new face that walks in here, and we're skipping ahead. Okay. Early shift at work, or... Nah, I have the day off. Then, what are you doing tonight? Nothing big. I promise you. Okay, skipping. And we're gonna get her drunk. Let's go with the red, white, and blue. Gathering the ingredients for the red, white, and blue, I sneak a peek at the woman who is idly playing with the little brown drink napkin. You know, I've realized I never asked you for your name. It would be cruel on me to keep calling you bartender all night. Yeah, it would, and we're skipping ahead. So, ma'am, come on. You can trust me. Or, why the secrecy? You can trust me. Ah, come on, you can trust me. I'll make you a drink after all. That's like the most trust you can put into someone. Despite my metaphorical, playful nudge, the woman's expression turned sour. Yikes, seems like I pushed my luck. It's your job to make my drink, Kate. Plus, it's not like I'm gonna ask the heaping pile of trash down the bar to make me one. I want my drink to be made by someone with experience. Her tone has a razor-sharp edge to it. Yeah, I definitely pushed my luck. Sorry, I didn't think your name meant that much to you. You didn't get the hint earlier when I said it's a safety precaution? Oh man, not even an apology is going to smooth things over with her. She's narrowing her eyes at me and impatiently tapping the bar top, eager to get this conversation over and done with. My bad. I want to ask you for a name again. Good. Hopefully the drink I make can smooth things over, even just a bit. Anyway. I turn around and grab her drink that I put a lot of heart, soul, and honestly brain power into. I put a drink down in front of her and she takes it in. Okay. What? What is this? Red, white, and blue. It's one of our most popular drinks. Are you patriotic, Kate? Not the slightest, but you did say surprise me, right? That I did. So I surprised you. Lesson learned, never doing that again. But maybe it tastes better than it looks. With an auspicious gleam, she leans forward, curling her tongue around the straw and taking a sip. Instantly, her face contorts, making the egg face I never take joy in seeing. She quickly puts the drink down and pushes it away from her ever so slightly. Yeah, I'm certainly never doing that again. It's too strong for me to have on an evening like this. Oh, darn. I can make another drink for you if you like. No need, I'm good. Double darn. The woman opens her mouth, but before she can get her words out, the blaring voice of a special news report comes out from TV behind me. It's bad to mounting evidence. Yeah, I know. Corrupt politician. We're skipping ahead. So, I'm just gonna say it's awful. With the state the world is in, it's hard to ignore it all. Every day I wake up in fear of my life, fearful for others, for people that I love and care about. Hell, even complete strangers. And why? Because of who I am. My very existence disgusts people and I hate it, not to mention all the other BS that's going on, like outrageous living costs. When I was starting out here, I wasn't making much, so I basically had to give up an arm and a leg to keep up with just trying to make ends meet. You're awfully quiet. Not sure if I like that. Sorry, I was just giving your question some thought. If I had to be honest, I think it's pretty awful. I'm sure you can guess why. I gesture my head towards the TV behind us. The news anchor is now reporting another miserable story about what's going on in the world. I see. What about you? Hopefully I'm not intruding on anything by asking your opinion on the matter. Heh, not at all. For once, I'll be able to answer your question. So the million-dollar question is, will it be a vague answer or an essay-long response detailing her opinion on the world? A small part of me is hoping for the latter, just so she can be here for a little while longer. I don't have quite the same outlook as you, but I will admit that there are good people in this world. People who are too kind for their own good. Okay, and we're skipping ahead. Reformation? Only the good people staying. What does that entail exactly? As the idea ferments in my mind, my stomach gets queasy. I should take my leave. The sudden announcement reels me back to reality. Wait, why? I said I'll be going. It appears that I've made you uncomfortable, and I would rather not make this night even worse for you. Stuffing her hand into her pocket, she pulls out a wrinkly $20 bill, more than enough for a drink, and lays it out on the bar top. Her hand lingers on the money, and her eyes slowly meet mine. I want to stop her from leaving. I want to put my hand on hers, and do what I can to keep the conversation going. But I stand there, frozen in time, words lodged in my throat, unable to escape. The mysterious woman's eyes harden. Good night, Kate. She gets off the stool and effortlessly moves through the crowd of people towards the entrance. Before I know it, she's gone. My eyes are drawn to her drink and then to the money, the only evidence she left behind to prove that she was here. I put my hand over my aching heart, its beat steadily coming down to a normal pace. I hate it. But maybe it's better this way. All that adrenaline and excitement wouldn't have been worth letting that woman into my life, even if it was for a short period of time. Right? Bad end. Alone. Right, now I'm gonna try to go for a good ending, and for that, I need to make sure I don't get like 4 points with Kali, so I'm gonna go with I'm sorry here, skip ahead, and then make her a vampire kiss, because I don't want to deal with things. Give her a nickname, that gives like 2 points, I believe. I'm gonna say it's awful, so that still nets me at 2 points. And over here, doesn't matter whether I ask her to figure me out or if I figure her out. So I'm just gonna figure her out just for you guys, okay? Just so that you guys can see what happens here. I wonder. I eye her up and down. Every alarm bell in my head blares. This woman, she's something, that's for sure. Mysterious? Yes. Frightening? A little bit. I would be stupid to ignore her behavior, especially just now. At the same time, she's interesting, witty, incredibly smart, and most of all, she's thrilling. Every time I look at her, I get excited. I haven't felt this way about anything, ever. I'm always taking the safe path in life, sacrificing myself and time for others, and in return, live a normal, forgettable life with the same old routine. I want something more, something different. It doesn't even matter if I get hurt. I need this, even if it's just a brief moment where my world is exhilarating. And this woman right here is my ticket to that. My head's telling me to retreat, to do whatever I can to get this woman out of here. I focus on regaining control of my racing heart instead. I take a deep breath in and then out, as calmly as I can manage. I tell Kali what I want. I want to figure you out, Kali. Well, someone's pleasantly surprised. At first, she's taken aback by that, and then she relaxes back into her signature smirk that jumpstarts the hasty, pounding force of adrenaline pumping into my heart. Huh, it was like a challenge. Okay, go ahead. Let's see what you can piece together about me, Kate. She adjusts herself to sit perfectly upright and still, as if getting ready to be examined. I don't need much time. I think I've got you figured out. Oh? I lean forward, lowering my voice to a whisper. You're dangerous, aren't you? No reaction. Perhaps you're that way because of what's happened to you in life, with all the secrecy, or maybe it's because you can't afford to give yourself up. Her smirk drops. Plus, the way you've looked at Phil just now. You enjoy seeing people like that, right? I mean, it would explain why you've liked seeing me so flustered. She tilts her head and her eyes twinkle with amusement. But don't people typically enjoy seeing someone they fancy embarrassed? Fancy? Ugh, she's doing it again! This woman really knows how to get to people. I slam one hand down onto the bar top before gesturing my hand at her. Was that a Phoenix Wright reference? See, you're doing it again! Saying things that you know will get to me. Which proves my point even further. It's fun seeing you a blushing mess. You seriously won't let me have just this one moment? Oh, you can. I just won't let you have it easily. Continue. Ah, this woman. Anyway, where was I? You were on the part about me enjoying seeing other people squirm. Then I countered, saying that's nothing out of the norm. Yeah, right. Thank you. Anyway, I put on a serious face again. But the way you were looking at Phil, that wasn't normal. You smile when you laid eyes on him. How your cheeks flushed at seeing him so miserable, when any other person would have shown him some empathy or outright ignored him. And the whole thing about the world and it needing to be reformed, the whole thing sounded ominous. That's why I think you're dangerous. Kali's fingers dance around the rim of her glass as she processes my theory thoughtfully. A minute of silence later, an amused smile flickers onto her face. Let's see your hypothesis is true, Kate. Despite everything, here you are, standing only a few inches away from me, unafraid. Kali leans forward, bringing her face close to mine. I can feel her breath tickle my skin. Her eyes darken, like a predator who had just found its prey. Are you sure you're not the dangerous one? I lean away, putting a comfortable distance between us. God, I'm blushing so hard, aren't I? So you aren't. That's good. We can't have too many dangerous people running around in the world. Those lovely, vibrant eyes glances over to the clock hanging above the entrance. 12:30. Kali lets out a soft, almost missable sigh. As much as I enjoyed our evening together, I must be going. Time waits for no one. Oh, okay. Does she really have to go now? Ugh, Kate, stop it. How are you attached to this woman already like you're some lovesick puppy? You don't even know her real name, for crying out loud. You sound almost disappointed by that. I mean, it's not often I get to meet someone like you around here. Oh, I'm sure you say that to about everyone. I don't! Her eyes widen ever so slightly. If you really need to go, I won't stop you. You said you had important plans tonight, right? That I did. Then you should get going before, you hit that late night traffic. My joke surprisingly lands because Kali smiles. It's not like the one I've seen for the majority of the night. It's genuine. It's kind of heartwarming. Yeah, that dreadful late night traffic. Can't let the taxis filled with drunk partygoers hold me up from my engagements. She stuffs her hand into her pocket and pulls out a wrinkly $20 bill. Before you say something, keep the change. Thanks. Good night, Kate. Night, Kali. Kali slides off the bar stool and walks away. Her confident stride leaves no room for what-ifs or daydreams. Without looking back, her head lifts into the air and Kali leaves me staggered one last time with a small wave goodbye. Naturally, I spring into action with a tiny wave in return, even though I know she can't see me. Before I know it, she's gone, and so is the warmth in my chest. Okay. Later that night. Okay. The rest of the night drags on, thankfully without any hitches. After closing up the place, it's just me, my cheap umbrella, and the rainy bus stop sign, waiting for the last ride out of here. Of course it would be late. Always is. Just my luck. Life sucks sometimes. Had a pretty girl come into the bar and what did I do? Messed it up. Didn't even get a number. Then again, I don't think she would have given it to me. I don't think she would have even got as far as to give me an email address or fax number. And you would be right, Kate. Hi, you're just standing there ominously in the rain again. How are you doing? My head whips in the direction of that voice, standing there, under the streetlight that is unmistakably Kali. Kali, what are you doing out here? I forgot something. Slowly, she saunters towards me, and I watch in a daze how the light rainfall leaves a dappled pattern on the fabric of her hood. Feet apart now, I catch the teasing curve of her mouth. Wait, what'd you forget? You didn't have anything on you. Oh! She shuts me up with an abrasive kiss that makes my heart stop and my mind come to a screeching halt. Is this really happening? Is she actually kissing me? The subtle taste of alcohol on her lips and her hand grazing my cheek indicates that yes, this is very much real. And before I can reciprocate or put my hands on her to deepen it, she breaks off the intimate connection. She takes one step back and I expect her to look proud of leaving me speechless. But her face is blank. Kate, you're a good person. It would be wise to go on your normal life and forget about me. You can't say that after kissing me! She gets closer. I catch a whiff of something powerful among the smell of the city. Is that bleach? Inching closer, I can feel her breath scorching my skin. I open my mouth, but my arguments are just forgotten just as quickly as they came. Her Her gaze is frightening. Kate, her tone is serious. Just do what I say, okay? Let tonight fade away. Okay. Once I agree to do as she asks, her face relaxes and the color returns to her eyes. Good. Turning on her heel, Kali walks away. Goodbye, Kate. Thank you for the memorable evening. The roaring of the old city bus coming up from behind me pulls my attention away from Kali. It shakes a bit as it stops in front of me. I look back to where Kali was. She's gone. Right back at you, Kali. As the bus door creaks open, I step inside, ready to finally go home. Normal end. Parting gift. Anyway, that was Intoxicating. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. I quite enjoyed this. Like, I did not expect to go on a date with someone so dangerous. But then again, like, isn't that like what 90% of the channel is about? Gosh darn. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.